Hey everybody, this is Dr. A here, and we are going to tackle another example of right triangle trigonometry in this video. So as I've said before in my other videos, what you need to do is write all the steps down. You need to go through this process step by step with a pencil and paper. Math is not a spectator sport. You have to participate, and of course you want to pause the video along the way. So let's go ahead and get started. On our given information, we are being asked to compute the side lengths x and y of the right triangle. Okay, so our given triangle looks like this. Oh, let's make it look a little nicer. Okay, and here's our right angle. And we're going to be given an interior angle here of 30 degrees. And the lengths that we want are as follows. We have a height of y, and we have a horizontal length of x. And then the hypotenuse is also given to us. Let's make that look a little bit better. Hypotenuse length is given to us as 12 inches. Okay, so again, notice that we have units built into here. So what we have here again is a right triangle with an interior angle of 30 degrees. We have a hypotenuse length that is given to us this time, and that's equal to 12 inches. And then we have two unknowns here. We have an unknown vertical dimension that we're calling y and an unknown horizontal dimension that we're calling x. So let's go ahead and get started with the solution. Now you may notice that this problem is a little bit different than some of the other examples we've done together, okay? We're being asked for different things, and we are given different things compared to some of the other examples. But that's okay. It's still right triangle trigonometry, and we can always go back to those basic definitions of sine and cosine and tangent, okay? So let's go ahead and recall, what are the basic definitions of sine and cosine? Well, if you remember, the sine of some angle is equal to the opposite side over the hypotenuse. And then the cosine of some angle is equal to the adjacent side measurement divided by the hypotenuse of the right triangle, okay? So how can we, ask yourself, how can we apply this to this particular problem that maybe is a little bit different than what we've seen before? Well, it's not an issue at all. We still use the same idea. Now, look at the angle that you're given. You are given an interior angle here of 30 degrees. So we know that we're going to have to use that 30 degrees somehow, and that's somehow going to get built into this sine and cosine operation. We're also given the hypotenuse of 12 inches here, which will also somehow get built in to this to these equations in the denominators of sine and cosine, of the sine and cosine equations, okay? Now, what we're actually solving for here are the opposite side and the adjacent side of the angle we're given. So let's make a note here. This is an interesting note. We're going to say y, the side y, is opposite of the 30-degree angle. Okay? So check this out. I can say sine of 30 degrees equals y over the hypotenuse. What's the hypotenuse? Well, that's the 12 inches that was given, 12 inches. Now look at this. I can cross multiply. I can multiply this 12 inches to the other side of the equation, and I can solve for y. I can say y equals 12 inches times the sine of 30 degrees. And if you punch this in your calculator, or if you remember your special angles, you'll know that this comes out to be 6 inches. Okay, so that's one of our answers. That's one of our answers. Y equals 6 inches. Now we can do something similar, but with the cosine calculation. We can make a note that x, this length x, is the adjacent side to the given 30-degree angle, right? The length x is next to this 30-degree angle. So we can say, make a note to ourselves here and say, x is adjacent to the 30-degree angle, which means we can now say cosine of 30 degrees equals, again, basic definition, adjacent over hypotenuse. So we can say that that's equal to x over 12 inches. And now we can, again, cross multiply this 12 inches to the left side of the equation here. And we can get x equals 12 inches times the cosine of 30 degrees. Now this one, you may not remember this special angle, so we can punch this in a calculator. So 12 times cosine of 30 degrees. And when you get this as a decimal, you get about 10.4 inches. And so these are going to be your two answers. Y equals 6 inches and x equals 10.4 inches. And again, notice that I kept my units of inches built into all of my equations because these are measurements. And whenever you are doing calculations with measurements, you should always include those inches or whatever your units you have into the calculations appropriately. So thanks for watching. If this was helpful, hit like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.